what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good weekend. There is a pretty interesting story that came out last night. At the time of making this video, I wanted to make a video earlier about it, but I've been gone all day away from home. So I just want to sit down and make a quick video to talk about this because, of course, it was, trending and being talked about on Twitter and social media last night. So you've probably heard about it, but, Michael B. Jordan is developing his own Superman project for HBO Max, Black Superman character Val-Zod. And, Michael B. Jordan, his name has surrounded Superman projects for quite a while. He's made statements about it in the past, but he has basically said before that he doesn't want to play a Black Clark Kent, and he kind of just doesn't want to do that. So, and I mean, fans have also kind of had the opinion that why race bend Clark Kent when you can just kind of use the characters that are already canonically Black in the comics. And yes, there's also the argument that, Superman is alien in origin. He's not a human, and they're all fictional characters, of course. So, but, I still see why, it's probably better to go with a character that's already supposed to be Black and do that story instead of changing, doing another story, another version of Clark Kent, So, Michael B. Jordan and his production company Outlier Society are developing their own Black Superman project for HBO Max that centers on the Val-Zod incarnation of the character. This is coming from Collider. I don't usually like to report I don't usually like to use them as a source, but this is a very interesting story. So, sources say that Outlier Society has hired a writer who is currently working on the script, though we are unable to ascertain their identity, so we don't know who the writer is. So though it was initially unclear whether the Val-Zod project would be a movie or a limited series, sources have since reached out to clarify that as of right now, it is in fact being written as a limited series that Jordan will produce and possibly even star in, though he has yet to officially commit on the latter front. So they're not 100% sure if he's actually going to play Val-Zod or if he's just going to produce it. But as of right now, he is producing it, and his production company is behind the project. So this kind of just talks about, this is separate from the previously reported J.J. Abrams' Black Superman movie that is also being written by a different writer. There's a script supposedly being worked on for that as well. And that's the story that would follow a Black Clark Kent Kal-El version. So this is separate from that. I do think it's better that they would do this Val-Zod story as a series because I don't think he's as familiar to, wider audiences, even myself. And so I think doing a series would better allow them to, expand on the character, go further into what the character, how he's different from the Clark Kent or the Kal-El that we're used to seeing most of the time, live action Superman. I think a series would work better in that way. So, while Jordan did work with Warner Brothers on developing a Black Superman movie at one point, he did recently shoot down rumors that he would star in Abrams' new film, saying, "I'm flattered that people have me in that conversation. It's definitely a compliment, but I'm just watching on this one." So that was what the statement came out when, the whole thing about the J.J. Abrams movie, a lot of people just started assuming for some reason that, or fan casting Michael B. Jordan as that character. So this kind of just goes into talk about why it would be, maybe a better choice to use a Black character, a Superman character, instead of, like Kelvin Ellis or Val-Zod, instead of Clark Kent for a project like this. And that's kind of what I commented on earlier. And so just a little bit on Val-Zod. He's a Superman from Earth. He would be a Superman from Earth 2, where he is one of the last Kryptonians and the second to assume the mantle of Superman, assuming they go with that kind of story, but that's kind of just a background on his character in general. The character was orphaned after his parents were executed by Krypton's High Court, though he was found on Earth 2 by Terry Sloan, who offered the young alien asylum to protect him from the outside world. Ellis, referring to Kelvin Ellis, on the other hand, is the Superman of Earth 23, where he is the President of the United States. So those are two different Black Superman characters. Talking about Jordan's other work. So I do think this is an important point. It's important for people to see themselves in roles that they normally wouldn't see what that does to the next generation, to a kid or somebody that didn't think that this is something that they could achieve. Now they're thinking about it and dreaming about it, daydreaming about it, Jordan said back in April. So, I mean, it's interesting. I think he's a good actor. He's done a lot of big projects lately. He has more coming up, which the bottom of the article talks about a lot of other projects he's working on too. I think there's going to be people on both sides of the fence on this, but I do think that if they want to, I do think this is a more positive way to do a Black Superman project compared to the J.J. Abrams thing, which he's not, as of right now, he's not directing that movie if it ever happens. He's just producing it right now. But I do think this is a better way to approach that if that's something that they want to do. Just in general, I don't think it's a bad idea to do a Black Superman project. That's nothing wrong with that. But I think this is a better way to approach it. Especially because, like I said, for a series, you can kind of just take your time a little bit more. You can go into more detail. And especially for people who are not as familiar with it, with the character or the story, they can take their time more on that with a series. And again, I think it's better than just swapping out, saying, oh, instead of the traditional look that we're used to for Clark Kent, we're gonna switch it and do just another Clark Kent story. I don't think that there's really a reason to do that. I think the timing of that whole J.J. Abrams movie announcement was specific, and when there's public drama going on with Warner Brothers, but this is, I think a more positive approach, and it makes more sense to choose a character that's already Black and just go with that. And it's a different story. He's from a different Earth. He has a different origin. Expand more on that. And they have HBO Max now. They can do series on characters that are not as familiar. They're doing Stargirl on there. I personally like that show. I'm not really familiar with any of those characters, and it's a good show. So it shows that you can do less familiar characters, and I think Michael B. Jordan is a good actor. Obviously, a lot of his producing company does have good, has some pretty impressive credits. So I think it would, it's probably going to be pretty interesting. Have no idea how or when this is supposed to be released, or if they've hired a writer to start writing a script, it's probably still some time away before that would happen. A lot has to happen before they actually start filming for anything like that. And I'm interested to know what the budget would be for something like this. Hopefully they would be willing to put in a decent amount. I know it's probably somewhat of a risk for them because the character is not as familiar, and so they're probably, they don't know how it's going to appeal to a wider audience or other people that watch HBO Max beyond the DC world and superhero genre. But for these kind of characters, it's hard when they have a lower budget, when they have to fly and they want a decent looking suit and things like that, because you don't want it to look cheesy. You don't want it to look like it has a low production value, but we'll see when that comes. This is probably still pretty early on in the process, but if they are making an announcement, if they're putting it out there publicly, then this has obviously been going on for a while behind the scenes. So I just wanted to comment on that because it is pretty interesting in this genre that we pay attention to. And I do think it's pretty, it's getting pretty positive response from what I'm seeing on Twitter so far, from the people that people follow me, that I follow. I started a poll last night. It still has 5 hours left at the time of making this video, so we'll see how much they change in that time. But these are the first thoughts from people when hearing about this news. Yes, nah, or wait and see. And it's pretty even between the yes and the wait and see, which I think wait and see is still a more positive positive way of looking at it. Like, we'll wait and see what happens with it. We'll wait and see where they're going to take it, how they're going to, and that's from 265 votes so far. So we'll see. I think it's been around this since I started the poll last night. So we'll see kind of how it changes. But I think that's a more positive reaction and receptive reaction than when they put out the J.J. Abrams whole thing, especially, like I said, because of the timing of that one. So let me know what you think of this. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Leave a thumbs up if you like this video, or if you just like the news that I shared. Check out the channel for any other videos you might have missed recently, including my fitness YouTube short videos. And don't forget to check out the links in the description for my merch, social media handles, and the Autumn Snyder AFSP Fund. So thanks guys for watching. We'll see you next time.